Get a ACC-SEC matchup to start the season. Auburn Tigers will have off at midfield, and off we go for the 25 soccer season for Auburn and Louisville. Tigers winning battle with Aaron Fleury in the midfield. Quickly work it up the right side for Lee inside the box, and the Tigers called offside. That was a nice ball and a good look for the Tigers to work it up. Auburn tonight going to be key to learn what their identity is, Nick. I think that's what Auburn is trying to figure out. I know from the first two exhibitions, starting fast was something Coach Armstrong wasn't pleased with, but also a couple other things. Win the big moments and set pieces. That's going to be key for both Auburn and Louisville tonight.
Yeah, there's nerves in the first game of the season. They've been building on this since the very last game last season. And then just a matter of, because both teams are solid defensively, there's not going to be a ton of key moments. So it's a matter of taking advantage of the one or two that you get. And that could be from a set piece. Teams are still trying to get their chemistry down, get their organization, communication down. So the set piece may be those key areas where a team could score a goal.
He works it up the sideline for Louisville. The Cardinals will have a throw, even with the box. Narski goes short, and a foot on it. Great timing for the Tigers. Auburn, the turnover in their defensive third. A little give and go touch. Olivia Woodson, and Steer to get up. Lee in company back toward the middle with Huckabee. Terry flips the field left to right. Nice foot race on the far side is Devereaux, the outside back for Auburn, sealing off the Louisville attacking player. Tigers net tonight. Ayana Yapo, freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. And for Auburn, too, you know, with the absence of Maddie Prohaska, I mean, she was a 4-year starter, Nick, and it's going to be different for every Tiger suiting up tonight in North Blue, especially the returners. Having somebody other than Prohaska in net is certainly a change of scenery here at the Auburn Soccer Complex.
Yeah, the good thing for Ayana, though, is she had a couple of years being able to be with Prohaska and learn from her, gain some knowledge of how to play once she gets into these games. So it's good someone to be behind. You know, obviously, Prohaska has gone on to play the NWSL and is doing well there. But now she gets her chance and let's get advantage of it.
Flip the field with Devereaux. Ping-ponged around in midfield. Auburn able to come down with it. Colson will lay it back to the center. Auburn found that early success, or near early success, with Shelby Salee. Auburn trying to emulate that with a pass off mark from the back in Chisholm.
You know, it looks like both teams so far trying to take advantage of when there is space behind. Both have played a little bit of long ball, trying to attack the back line and just test the other team and see how they react.
How much of the first match of the season is that, Nick? Because for Louisville, you have an idea what they have. A lot of returners, but still, first match of the season. Auburn, polar opposite, new coach. Not a lot to scout with so many new players. Again, 9 portal players and 6 freshmen.
Yeah, Louisville, you've got a bunch of players that have played together for a long time together, which is good, but they are coming out of summer. You know, a couple of weeks of preseason is not a lot of time.
Tigers looking for a through ball through the back. They will get it with a catch. Cherry tracking it down near turnover, collision with free ball, top of the box. And Louisville able to clear it out. Aaron Fleury, the transfer from Syracuse, nearly had a chance on goal. We mentioned how important the back line was going to be, and Louisville, they talk about playing comfortable without the ball at their feet, and this back line, that's what they are. I mean, they're as good as Auburn will see this year in non-conference.
They are, and Chris Ferguson Day mentioned, you know, play in a conference that have some of the best teams in the country who are good at possession. Louisville is used to playing those kind of situations, so they're patient. They understand that they may not have it. It doesn't roll them, so they can organize themselves, make sure they're shrinking gaps between players, shrinking the seams between the lines to make sure they give themselves a chance to win it back.
Playing a 4-2. And they like that because it allows them to defend just in a simple way. And sometimes not overcomplicating things is strength.
It is, and it's going to be interesting as a game with Auburn playing with wide mid. That player's going to be overloaded if Louisville's outside back outside mid and see how they deal with the situation.
Chance for the Tigers. Diving save narrows for Aaron Floyd. First action for the Cardinals keeper tonight. Ball came off the foot of Gordon Crosby, the junior from Alpharetta. Scored 4 last year for Auburn.
You know, these counter situations, it's going to be key for both teams to take advantage of it. Auburn, they've got some players that are so dynamic and pacey. You know, they can create something out of a one touch, two touch, and a shot.
Well, Coach Ferguson Day, when I asked her about her goalkeeper, Aaron Floyd, she said, I have a big year. She can make the big save. Boy, did she ever. Right there, that shot from Crosby.
And that's still such confidence with the players in front of you. When they know that the keeper behind them is going to come up with something if they make a mistake. Obviously, they don't want to make mistakes, but it happens. And if you know you have someone that's going to keep the ball in the net, it's a lot of confidence to keep going on in the game.
Well, Floyd last year, she battled injury up and down throughout the season, and they were 6-5 with her in net last year. I mean, that's a lot. Obviously, playing in the ACC, a very tough soccer conference, so not easy. Not have your top keeper in for a lot of the game.
Absolutely, and I believe she only gave up 8 goals. That's phenomenal in a conference that they play in. You know, even more impressive. So it's a credit to her, a credit to how they structure their team defensively and how organized they are. Obviously, back line plays a big part in that as well.
7-0 goal against average last year. All trying to build through. Asha Means has said her name enough. She's had some very good ball ins for the Tigers on the right side of that back row tonight. Collision. Referees let them play.
You know, both teams this side of the area are of the park with how condensed they make it. It's going to be tough to gain possession. Louisville already, they sit sort of a medium block, mid block, but then once they break that line or once the line's broken, they pressure the ball quickly and get numbers around the ball.
Nicole Jadot and one of the freshmen in the lineup tonight for Louisville getting some work up top. One note, Mackenzie Geigel, the leading scorer and returning scorer from last season, not in the lineup tonight. She scored 7 goals, 3 assists a season ago. It's a big opportunity for the freshman.
You know, Coach Ferguson Days had mentioned keeping her out just as precautionary with a muscle strain potentially. But she's going to be important when she is able to come back.
Sudom, shot deflected. Asha Means got him from at the top of the box. I mean, it was squared up for Louisville.
You know, this is part of that early season, some disorganization, you know, from a defensive aspect in the final third, the defensive third. But Auburn's able to get the block for Means. You know, something they're going to have to clean up as the game goes on.
And we'll have our first corner of the night. Huckabee, the junior from Crestwood, Kentucky, on the ball, sends with the right foot. Ball in Louisville. Not ahead, but too far wide. And the Tigers will set up with a good kick. And I think it was Carson Cherry was the target on the corner. Why not? 6 goals off of set pieces and corners a season ago.
Yeah, she's a known player in the ACC with just how dangerous she is on these set pieces and corners.
Here to Huckabee. Sear goes up the left side to Crosby, who's had the best chance tonight for Auburn. Tied up on the back row by Brooklyn Lee. No, excuse me. It was Lizzie Sexton on the far side, and what a big defensive play there for Louisville.
It goes back to some of the chances that both teams are taking when the space is there. You know, when the back line is around midfield, take a chance, play in behind. You know, that big diagonal worked for Auburn there. Probably had a little bit of a chance and just got caught up on the foul from Louisville.
Second team captain, 4-year starter. This is her 43rd career start. Ball in danger. Yapo dive. She's out of position. Intercepted on the back row by Darrow. And able to clear it out. Up to Jordan Crosby. Near danger for the Auburn keeper. Auburn keeps Louisville off momentarily. Auburn's transition. Fleury has a defender on her heels, shifts it back right.
Before you come and having hear some Syracuse with these teams.
So Lee with a chance on Crosby. Take a look back, that near scoring chance for Louisville. Yano comes off her mark as Louisville crosses into the box.
Yeah, again, it looks like a little bit of miscommunication. I think Yapo believed one of her back line was going to be able to get to it, so wasn't able to get straight away, had to react in time, wasn't able to hold it like she probably wanted to. Again, these are some of those early season miscommunication issues that will work their way out in time, but like go back to preseason being so short for this sport. It's the early season jitters. Working out the kinks, so we're seeing some of that right now.
Well, and you mentioned the preseason being short. I was shocked that practice starts on a Monday or a Tuesday, and you're playing your first exhibition 5-6 days later. Nick, and I'll be honest, it's fast for any sport.
I believe it's the shortest preseason of any sport in the NCAA. It's up there, if it's not the shortest. The Coaching Association is trying to get things changed, and it's incrementally getting better. I believe next year we're going to have a little more time. Doesn't do the players service with just you have to ramp up so quickly. Just physically, it puts a lot of pressure on the players to be able to compete at a high level very, very fast. And sometimes the bodies aren't ready for that.
What a good freshman battle, 1v1. Jadoan from Louisville and Devereaux, the not an out back and a 3-back, but the defenseman for the Tigers. And got a lot of chances up that right flank for Louisville. Just one matchup to watch tonight as this game progresses. We'll see a lot of good 1v1 battles. Seen some in the middle involving Auburn's Aaron Fleury, the redshirt out of Manchester, New Hampshire.
I wonder if Louisville scouted the right side, just sort of the lack of experience from a freshman. You've got a fifth-year on the opposite side who played at UNC. They know her. So have they chosen to go down the right side or just to pick on someone that's playing her first college game?
And so for Devereaux's into the call. Tigers going back to Crosby. Auburn also working upside. Pass on to Woodson, intercepted there by Cherry in the center back. Auburn's got it deep in Louisville territory, nearly 50 minutes in. Each team with a quality chance on goal. Still no score here in the early minutes between Auburn and Louisville. One on the back. Where he gets another throw in, working against Jadoan. Start. High throw intercepted. And that's defended about as well as it can be if you're Louisville. How big are the throw-ins right now for Auburn? Just in terms of communication, because again, you're learning communication, playing style, and you don't want to go away, especially at this position in the field.
Not at all. It comes down to how they talk to each other and how they rotate. It's impressive to see how Louisville has shifted and closed the space so much. they gave Auburn very little to work with on that side.
Early trends you see the first 15 minutes, Nick?
I think the team's just trying to, feel each other out a little bit. Playing a little direct when they get to the middle part of the field. If space is there behind the other team's back line, counterattack situations are there.
Chance for Auburn. Woodson gets bumped from behind. And Louisville able to work it out, but Auburn's still threatening with their own.
One thing is both teams are fairly narrow with how they're going forward. If it's to the one side, it stays on that side. There's a lot of space on the opposite side for a quick switch. Salih has some space out here, for example. Just playing down the same channel the time allows the other team to shift and shrink that space. You got to be opening things up a little bit more at times.
In a few minutes, it's Louisville kind of good offensive attack. What can Louisville do to build through the middle? Had some good transitions about 5 minutes to go, but Auburn didn't maintain possession.
Yeah, we talked earlier about how can they take advantage of this wide space, the numbers up situation to create. And Auburn playing with that sort of two holding mids, two attacking mids. They shrink the area so much. Trying to play through the center for Louisville can be really frustrating if they continue to try to do that. So can they get it wide? Can they take advantage of their wide mid, their wide back, create numbers up situation against Auburn?
Chisholm would send it over the top and nobody home for Auburn. Chisholm, a senior transfer from NC State, comes from the ACC. 18 starts a season ago and wearing number 4 with that. Sure Tiger fan know well with Anna Hack's departure.
Yeah, he's come in and Coach Armstrong has spoken nothing but great things about her. Just from a leadership perspective, how she organizes everyone. She's obviously fit in well already to be named captain. Obviously, her experience playing in the ACC is helpful. She's seen Louisville many times before. She's been tested against some of the best teams in the country, and now she's coming into another competitive conference in the SEC.
Tiger building through the back. Chisholm will go back to the keeper in Yapo. Driving up the left side out of bounds. And, well, Auburn, they were undefeated at home last year, 9-0-3, and they set the tone, Nick, with a win over team that went to the college cup the year before in Clemson, and that was an eye-opening win for everybody around the country. That kind of put Auburn on the map last year, but make no mistake, Coach Ferguson Days and her team, they've been excellent in starting games. I mean, they've won 19 of their last 21.
She's got a phenomenal record opening night that we've lost in the past 20-some years. That is incredible. Playing at home, playing away, playing the teams that they're playing. She obviously knows how to prepare preseason, ready her team to get a good start.
Again, make no mistake, regardless of results, this is about as quality a test I think either team would want to open their 2025 soccer season. Auburn and worth their first quarter of the night. Scoreless with 26 minutes to go here in the first half.
Well, and it's important, I think, from both coaching staffs. They want to be able to know where their weaknesses are and what they still need to work on. A team, if they win 5-6-0 opening night, it doesn't really say anything about your team. You're not going to learn much from them. So put your team up against the competition. See where you're succeeding. See what areas you need to keep working on.
Layla Sierra to take the corner for the Tigers. Post Ross, Jordan Crosby unable to get on the end of it for a Tiger goal. And again, positioning important there for Louisville's defense.
Yeah, organized. I can recognize where runners are coming from. Get a little bump here and there just to disrupt the run of the attacking player. did create the two Auburn standpoint, and they're unlucky to get something that wasn't quite on there.
We touched on an experienced group in the back with secondary Snyder, three seniors. Got Brooklyn Lee, only a sophomore, who's a strong player physically and a ball winner at outside back. And yeah, they're going to be the anchor all season long, this Cardinal team. But Auburn threatening, Tigers winning possession in the midfield with Fleury. Puts one a goal, deflects off the fair out of play. The Tigers work another quarter just within minutes of each other.
Well, you see they won again. Auburn's trying to get Woodson in these 1v1 situations, and Fleury was there for the second ball, able to take it on a bit of a counter, get the shot, was blocked at the corner. But those kind of situations where they're getting Woodson 1v1 situations are going to be key as the game goes on.
First corner was from the left. This one will be from the right side for the Tigers, and it again will be Stirda, the sophomore from Duluth. The 9 transfers in for Coach James Armstrong. Those far posts. Auburn gets ahead, punched on by Floyd. Top of the box, chipped on, falls to Chisholm, up in the air, over! Aaron Floyd climbed the ladder.
Just a great situation overall for Auburn, with Woodson sort of being in that line space and Louisville's organization, get back on frame, and they're looking for second chances.
Floyd is the reason thus far this game scoreless. 2 spectacular saves tonight for Louisville here in the first half of play. Tigers with their third corner. Last year, Auburn averaged just over 6 a game. Tigers go far post again and not hit it cleanly on the Tiger forward.
Yeah, that's something Louisville is going to have to clean up. That's really 3 corners in a row where Woodson's been on the back, just off the back post, and has got touch on it. They let her go too many times. Eventually, it may cost them.
And Crosby had a good chance as well. And 2 big goal scorers. Louisville switching right to left, and they've got some space to work. Middle, Swinarski goes right side, and that's where the disconnect has been. It's the last 10 minutes of play. The midfield can't seem to connect from that second pass to the third, and it's given Auburn a lot more possession than I think Louisville would like.
Yeah, they've been able to get through that initial pressure that Auburn putting on, but it's disconnected trying to play that diagonal through midfield to the opposite wide mid, and it's not been hit well enough. Just technically hit a little bit soft. Those times I think it's always better to overhit. If it beats the back line and goes out, throw in, so be it. You don't want it to come up short and then create a counter-attack situation for the other team.
If you're, looking back to James Armstrong's his philosophy when he was at Mississippi, I mean, he did a very good job of clogging the middle, and that's what Auburn's doing tonight. They have that box in the middle, the 2 wingers on the outside, and right now Auburn's not letting a lot get through and allowing Auburn to press on pretty directly at times in this match.
Yeah, and that seems to Louisville's strategy right now is switch on a big diagonal, bypass the center of the park, the center midfielders, give themselves a chance to attack the wide space on the opposite side.
Comes on the field, and no surprise, Aaron Houston, the first one off bench for Auburn. Also, Marky Brown as well, the senior from Ohio, transferred in from Duquesne, all-conference player. Lost it. Swinarski centered in the middle.
This is dangerous for Auburn. 1v1 or Woodson if they can find the ball.
With a spin after being tangled in the midfield with that defending caused by Lizzie Sexton. And we apologize for the technical difficulties that we are having. match tonight for Auburn and Louisville. We'll try to take a moment. 11 on 11. Swinarski against Brown. Ball in off the hop into the breadbasket of Yapo. Don in the middle. Lee out of the air working with Swinarski again. A lot of the attack has come from her. Sliding tackle. Aiden Colson able to win the ball there for Auburn. Warrants a Louisville throw. Auburn clears it out. That was Grace Ivy. Auburn pushing on the counter. Zerda switching back to left into the middle. Fresh legs, Aaron Houston, senior out of Kennesaw. Flurry, another chance. Edge of the box. Crossover and long on a play. Well, Hayden Colson spent her earlier at Auburn on the back move of the midfield last year, but she's let everybody know she's still got it well timed.
Physical play, just setting the tone that that's not going to be allowed, just to make sure she takes care of helping her teammates out in those situations.
Dylan Driver in for the Tigers, and she scored a goal for Auburn in the Memphis exhibition.
Dylan, great player, going to be very different than Woodson. You know, good with her back to goal, good having it all played into her feet, connecting others. Yeah, I think more assists last year than goals, but still very able to create opportunities for her team.
Big one over the top there from Snyder. Got a big leg, a lefty from center back, and look for Louisville to maybe try that again. The back row from Hadley Snyder. Well, you mentioned the physicality of Colson. Again, Auburn, they are our new coaching staff. Big turnover for Louisville. Top of the box, changing the direction. Shot on, diving save. Yapo goes to the right and takes it down to keep this one scoreless. That's in the middle, right idea. But Chisholm went the ball back to the line to Louisville. Foot race to the line. Ball out of play. Chisholm forced it out for the corner. Here's a look at that save.
Yeah, these little quick combinations. Yapo showing her athleticism, being able to take care of that. Some of the miscommunications, though, with the rotations for Auburn. Louisville creeping a little bit closer to getting a really good chance.
That was Amelia Lenarski on chance. I didn't want to identify the wrong players. Lenarski, sophomore, who scored a goal and also recorded an assist last year in her freshman campaign. Played in 30 matches last year as a freshman, and she's been a active part of this attack tonight, Louisville.
She definitely has. She seems comfortable with the ball, been able to take some 1v1 situations. Also looked to play out a tight space well, combining with others, trying to create some opportunities for her teammates.
Whistle in the midfield, advantage Auburn. Minutes to go in the first half, and quality chances, 4 shots for Auburn, 3 for Louisville, and good goalkeeping by Yapo and Floyd. Floyd with 2 big saves, and Yapo just had her first. All head down. Olsen able to center Devereaux, who tries to go over the top. Caldwell. Throw it for it'll be found. Short side to Driver.
see some depth from both teams now as we get towards the end of this half.
Well, for Auburn threatening again. Nice give and go. Shot on. Driven by Ava Caldwell. And Aaron Floyd denies Auburn for the third time tonight.
Flory showing her composure in those situations, being able to draw in the center back and free up Caldwell. Caldwell just wasn't able to get the power on that shot that she probably wanted.
What are you seeing from the chances? Is it creativity or is it miscues from the back lines from both sides?
They split of both. Some of the miscommunications, being able to shift and rotate for your other defenders quick enough. But both teams in the attack, once there's space, they take advantage of it quickly and recognizing they're not going to have a lot of time with the ball. So gets a goal quick, find a teammate who has the best opportunity and see what she can do.
All right, you've got 3 minutes to scout, Nick. So I'm going to put you on the spot. 15 minutes or 14 minutes to play in this half. Give me one thing that each team has accomplished here in this 14 minutes.
I think it comes back to the big moments. You're seeing some of this early season issues just from communication, from not being together for the past couple months and now trying to get after it within 2 weeks of preseason. Counterattack opportunities, it's just a matter of trying to get a little better shot on goal from both teams.
Ball in the middle. Nobody home there for Auburn. And I just saw a big run for Louisville up top moments ago, and they've done a good job in spots putting pressure on Auburn's keeper tonight.
They have, and go back to we're getting chances. Both teams really haven't seen a really clear-cut chance or a strong shot. First, have had to come just reaction type situations. Some of the pace on some of the shots can be a little bit better.
And we've got a hydration break, something that's common in the month of August. We're scoreless with 13 minutes to play here in the first half for Auburn and Louisville. Stick around the final minutes when we come back. Louisville on the road to take on an SEC foe, the Auburn Tigers tonight. Louisville coming off a 6-5 season from a year ago, and they were very good in the non-conference 5-2. But the only problem without their leading returning scorer, Mackenzie Geigel, 7 goals, 3 assists last year, but still they worked some pretty good chances with a younger core up top tonight.
They have, and they're going to be thrilled once Geigel comes back. She's out for really a precautionary decision. Making sure that she's not going to pick up something that keeps her out for a long time. But it's given chance for some of these other players to start, get experience, and they're taking advantage of it. Louisville is definitely taking advantage of creating their own chances, like we talked about a little bit earlier. May need a little bit more power on some of the shots. Pick out some spaces to the opposite side of the goal, far post area. But they'll be happy he's able to come back maybe next weekend, maybe Sunday. We'll see.
But I like who their personnel. You get Dolan going as a freshman, but Emerson Jennings came off the bench, and forgive me, it took me a moment to correctly identify her. But Jennings, she made a dangerous run on the keeper in Yapo minutes ago. They got some players who can cause some havoc for Auburn's back line up top. So
it speaks to their depth. You know, they were really thrilled and have spoke very highly of some of the freshmen they brought in. You're going to see some of these players come on and the level doesn't drop. They're going to continue to be dangerous, put pressure on Auburn's back line and test sort of their organization.
Alpo tries to go to Colson and falls to the middle to Gibson, Louisville. On the left side is Jennings again. Switches to left. Ball in the mixer, and Hayden Colson, the veteran, comes out for the clear for Auburn. Is Matty Stoddard. Hutton works it up to the middle. A lot of new faces on the pitch for both teams. Fresh legs and Stoddard, a sophomore. Some playing time last year for the Tigers. Snyder unable to keep it in for Louisville, gives Auburn position back.
Good attack there. A little miscommunication between Stoddard and Driver. Driver thought Stoddard was going to continue a run, but being able to play through pressure from Auburn, going back to Louisville's chances will come. Get it wide, get around to Auburn's outside back. Get a little bit of slot pass or a service in.
Some timely subs are late in the first half. Notice the Spurs getting a bit winded. It's muggy here in the middle of August here on the Plains. But you can see it. So a pep in their step, if you will, from certain parts of the field from both squads.
Absolutely. I mean, at opening night, besides maybe some rivalry games, tournament games, this is one of the most exciting nights of the year. So the players that are coming off the bench, thrilled to be getting on, trying to help create success for their team. You want to give everything they can because they're still trying to prove to their coaching staffs that they should be on the field.
Got a Cardinal down for Louisville at midfield. That is Emerson Jennings, a senior from Noblesville, Indiana. 4 starts last year, played in 16 matches. 1 assist a season ago, has 3 career goals. And again, she's one of those that brings a lot of pace. See if we can get a look at what caused Jennings to go down. Colson got there a tick late. And I think that was the conversation with the referee from the Cardinals.
Yeah, timing was a little off there. It goes back to having a holding mid with that kind of physical presence. Great for Auburn. Sometimes the timing is off, and the other player may take the bad end of that.
Well, tonight there hasn't been many collisions. It's been rather clean on both sides. Colton had a well-timed sliding tackle earlier. A tick late there. But those things that you see, I think, match 1 a season that you don't see maybe match 15 of the season as much.
Absolutely. It's better, but the teams that are coming from these conferences, SEC, ACC, they're used to the fast pace, having a lot of time on the ball. With athletic players, timing can be off every once in a while, and it's going to be a strong physical collision.
Sends it up. Race all the way to the line, and Lee able to pressure freshman in Devereaux, and the Cardinals will have a corner as Lee a little slow to get up. Just made contact with the Tigers. Oval corners tonight. This will be number 3. Under 10 minutes of play in the first half. Patty Huckabee on the ball for Louisville. Goes short. And Aaron Lurie sends it to midfield. Sexton has it taken away. Auburn's had some counter runs tonight. They get another chance here late. Driver gives the speedy Stoddard a chance. Outside the box, sends it across and intercepted.
It's a good counterattack there for Auburn. With Stoddard running on the side to get the Irvis in behind the back line. Hit it a little bit, but definitely a dangerous situation. Trying to put Louisville facing their own goal and had the numbers trying to get back into Driver.
And miscommunication from redshirt sophomore Hutton. Actually came from Community College Auburn. From Trinity Valley CC. Louisville a chance to reset the tone with 8:15 to play, and Aaron Floyd will have the ball at her feet. She, in my opinion, Nick, thus far, she's been the MVP in the first.
She has. She's come up. She's been solid the entire game. Came up, a winner team to come up big. It kind of provides a lot of confidence with players in front with how good she is.
Karina Beat, freshman, getting some action here for Louisville. She's one that Karen Ferguson Hayes so highly off to us this week.
Yes, they speak world of her player. I mean, I remember watching her on the recruiting trail for the past couple of years, and she had everybody after her. Had her choice of a lot of the big schools. A true goal scorer. You have some players that can score goals. You got other players that are goal scorers, and I think most coaches would say she's one of the goal scorers.
Point showing command. Senior in net tonight for Louisville. 4 saves, 5 shots from Auburn. And that drop kick just off mark.
You can see Auburn, as soon as they are able to face forward, the front players, the wide players are always looking to attack that space. So it's just a matter of whether the center has at the back line, can they recognize that there's a chance. Coach Armstrong has mentioned they want to attack quickly. The space is over there for a brief time when you're playing against the level that they're playing against tonight with Louisville. So they quickly take advantage of an attack. It is a 30-yard ball or whether it's a quick combination.
Well, so I had about 60 seconds with James before tonight's match, and I said, hey, give me 3 keys. And he said the first course is going to be changed to the point of attack, recognize space. And he's not going to be totally pleased with his first half, but there have been some bright spots. Auburn has executed just that.
Absolutely. I mean, the players are looking for it. And with a team like they have, half returners, half a new group, and from all different places, that kind of chemistry, especially in attack, is usually the last thing to come. You want to see intent right now, the first game. Are they trying to do the right things? Are they trying to recognize what they need to recognize? There's definitely been some bright spots so far.
5.5 to go. Tigers, a lot of new faces this year. And Haddock, Maddie Prohaska, LJ Knox. But also you got a couple more. Carly Thatcher's one that comes to mind that brought a lot of consistency in the midfield as a winger for Auburn.
Such a unique player she was. So crafty. Nowadays, though, with the transfer portal, as Armstrong is taking advantage of.
Ball into the box. Looking for chances. Well, another shot for Auburn at the top. And Gracie Brown sends it wide right.
You could bring in transfers that have 3, 4 years of experience. And so that transition is a little smoother.
Credit Margie Brown for that last attack. She gets a good pat on the back from her head. But, yeah, here's these transfers. I mean, they're coming from all over. Couple from the ACC. Chisholm from NC State, and Deans from North Carolina. But also you get Grace Ivy from Texas A&M, Brown's the big from Duquesne, Sirta. But you go up and down. There's talent up and down that list. And Auburn, as many hits as the Tigers lost from last year. Coach Armstrong, Coach Drago, they knew that's what they were going to have to do here in year one.
Again,
run on the ball and tripped up from behind. Brown pleading her case, but the foul called as she collided. I think that was with Jennings of Louisville.
Louisville continues this wide attacking situations. Maeve's got maybe shoelaces, maybe a little bit of toe, but enough to disrupt her run to take her down.
Well, I think regardless contact or not, the spacing there, Jennings was aware, and the contact caused the misstep. But a free kick on. Big chance for Louisville. 3 minutes to play. They go back post. Tigers with the head on. It falls to the top. Shot on, deflected. Well defended by Auburn. Brown able to intercept out of play for Louisville Row.
Gracie Brown coming out of the midfield twice to defend these wide channels.
West Virginia playing tonight?
I believe they are.
They are playing tonight? Okay. Gracie's mom, the head coach of West Virginia soccer. Her older sister, Sammy, played for Coach Aaron Hoppe. We got their mom on. I don't remember the broadcast last year, which game, but it was for Sammy's senior day, and what a that was.
A great woman, like Coach Ferguson days, like Coach Hoppe, legends in this game for their tenure at schools that they're at, with the success that they've brought their schools, some of the best in the business.
Well, it is odd. I have the privilege of working all summer broadcasts since 2013. And it is odd not seeing Coach Karen Hoppe on the far side of the field, regardless, having a familiar face in James Armstrong at the head of the program.
It is. It's a little bit surreal right now, so I'm trying to get used to not seeing Coach Hoppe over there.
Collision with Stoddard and Sexton. Good battle off the sideline. Sexton gets the advantage.
Feisty players. Stoddard maybe not the tallest, but plays bigger than she is. Isn't going to back down. Sexton as well. Hard-nosed, greedy defender.
Well, and what I liked about that battle, that was just good hard soccer.
Yeah.
All over the top, a chance for Jennings. Can she keep up? But it's all sides from the back row. 65 seconds left in the first half. Good battle between Auburn and Louisville. And Nick, thus far, I think this one has panned out how you predicted off air. And it's going to be a defensive battle. Is who can take control of the big moment so far has been the goalkeepers.
Yeah, I mean, neither team has sustained a ton of possession. It's gone back and forth. So, teams trying to limit space, win the ball back quickly, and then go. Then it comes down to the keepers have come up big. Now some of these chances, I call them sort of half chances so far. There's not been that quite really big moment quite yet, but it comes. It's gonna come down to big time players come up in these big time moments.
Well, some stingy defending there in the midfield for Louisville, denying Aaron Houston. And with that, Louisville will successfully run out the clock here in the first half, and we go into the first half.
Sure, players are getting picked up, knowing when shots are coming, and just a little bit better chemistry and communication from the back players.
Louisville off the first whistle, they dump it immediately into the attacking third. They're going to work off that left sideline.
It's interesting to see now as well for Auburn if they're able to change channels and take advantage of the release a little bit more in the second half. Spring Crosby, some of the other wide players, let them take advantage of space that's there.
And for Louisville, on the flip side, I respect how aggressive they're being here in the opening 60 seconds of this half. Again, it had chances, but it fizzled down the stretch of the first half of play. And for Little Two, you gotta see more wins in the field. I thought Auburn did a better job of winning position in some of the 50-50 balls. Tiger working over the top. His foot race downside. Crosby collides. Ball out of play. It's out on Crosby for a goal kick. And that was a great recovery there by Louisville and their defenders.
You go back to Louisville struggling in the center of the field. Sort of got to give credit to Auburn with how they structure this team. The two holding mids, the two attacking mids, just limit space so much for the other team.
Again, Lizzie Sexton, she's been a playmaker all night, playing back position for the Cardinals. She drops yet another one, and again, Sexton, Cherry, Snyder, going to be three big names you hear all season long for Louisville. Sexton, one of the captains, 4-year starters. Cherry retreating. Late save there by the freshman. It is on a play by the line judge. About another inch or two. She was going to save that all for a Louisville advantage. Playing through the back with Chisholm. Colson flips the field. And back at the top is Grace Ivy. Going wide to Fleury. Her name a lot in the first half. Chipped on. Sexton clears it out. Asatuana starts the half in the field for Auburn. With Aaron Houston playing on the back row. Giving Means a break to start this one. Devereaux on the other side.
To see how Auburn maybe start press a little bit higher this next half. They're sitting back, just let Louisville come out of the 8 a little bit. Does Woodson try to pressure a little earlier? Do the players come around, try to shrink that space a little faster?
Sit up, taking down Houston. Colson has her pocket picked by two defenders. Maybe will win, gives Sexton a chance to flip the field, but it all steps with Ivy. Through two defenders, Jordan Crosby. And late on the slide, it's a quick restart. And the referee says, no, it's actually Louisville advantage. Auburn tried the quick restart to get away, but not flying in the second half.
It's hard for Ivy to try that. Just don't know if Woodson, she didn't seem to know where she was as far as the line of the back line. Some of those kind of situations, though, for Auburn, if they can be a little bit faster, before Louisville's able to get back and get organized, they're going to be able to continue to create some chances.
Working up the left, they'll go through Brooklyn Lee. There for Sudam on the transfer. Houston and Crosby playing keep away. Auburn finding space in the middle with Searda. Auburn just has to boom it away to give themselves some relief. Getting higher numbers up the field here in the second half. More so than what we saw in the first half, at least towards the latter minutes of the first half of play.
They've come out with some real intensity to start the half, trying to Auburn under pressure. Got to be a little bit cleaner and try to spring some of these players. Again, the possession for both teams, hasn't been great. I credit that to the defensive aspect from their opposition from both sides. So it's just a matter of can they take advantage of these quick combinations, quick counter-attack opportunities.
Tigers find to Joanna. Ivy. I like what she sees, so she's going to go to Ism. Auburn being patient. Pressure from the freshman Joy. Face around. Sierra got around, gets it. Pass intercepted, and a big one there for Louisville. Crosby with a touch on out of play. Auburn gets the throw here to their side. Crosby goes off the defender, and Sexton works it around one, but ran into the center back. That Snyder got it to the sideline and sealed off by Houston. That's where Houston used her size, listed as 5'6", physical. The Tigers here in the back.
I think that may be selling it a little bit for her being 5'6". I think she's taller than that.
It could very much be a typo on my part, too.
No, that may be an SID trying to pull one on the opposition.
One thing I've learned over the years is a lot of times when they're freshman year, a lot of times it does not change, which is it depends team sport to sport. But I have run into that a few times where I've had an athlete ask me and say, "Hey, that's not right. Who do I talk to?"
Basketball listed as 7 that are really 6'3" and. These are situations here. Houston very dangerous on these wide channels. Just the speed, how they attack is a bit slow for Auburn now.
Well, and I completely misread it as the joke. 5'9", my eyes deceived me here. Getting back into mid-season. Getting back into mid-season form. Solid touch through ball for Aaron Fleury, but she found the space. No one there for Auburn. She's had some good touches tonight. She's been active. She's going to be a key part of this attack, I think, and be one of the centerpieces to bring together this group for some continuity and allow this attack some rhythm.
She's been impressive. I remember seeing her when she was with Syracuse, and she was so impactful for them. Now, I think I've been really impressed with just her composure in these tight areas when she got 2-3 defenders around her, not being frantic, being able to allow runs to develop around her, and then try to slip the ball through some of these gaps to create for teammates. I think one thing for both teams, and this will come as the season goes, when they attack, it's just a little bit slow, especially in transition. Coach Armstrong had mentioned in the call earlier, once his team recognizes they can go, that they got to go fast. And it's not quite been there yet. I think they're looking for things that may not be there, and it's slowing down the thought process and giving the Louisville, Auburn, and the defensive areas time to get organized and limit the space and close gaps.
Joanna closing in for the steal for the Tiger defense there at the top of the box. Well, and I wonder the same thing for Louisville on the flip side. We expect them to be more in rhythm tonight at times because they have so many returns. But on the flip side, again, Auburn's midfield and their shape, I think, is having a lot to do with the possession time or lack thereof tonight in Louisville.
No, I think you're spot on. I think, yes, based on the extent and the time that some of these players have been together, you would expect a little bit more. But I will say the way Auburn's playing is tough to play against, especially for the midfield. Being outnumbered, going against a bit of a bot field.
Crosby with a chance and sent right into the defender for deflection. Sexton plays right time. Colson with another go. Goes near post and out of play.
Yeah, so Britt, I'll go back to preseason for soccer. It's too short. You know, for so many different reasons.
I think about the scouting that Coach Karen Ferguson had to do for Louisville. Nick, I thought you asked the question perfectly. You know, somebody had to play Coach Armstrong in Auburn first, right? And for Louisville, you had a lot to do with scheduling this game, ironically enough, back at your time in Auburn. But even within, I mean, new personnel, new staff, I mean, you really didn't know what you were going to get tonight in facing Auburn.
Absolutely. Coach Armstrong's still trying to figure out what he has. But yes, to your point, Louisville had an even tougher road of trying to figure out who they were going to play against. New coaching staff, new ideas, half a new team, you know, and players are coming from all the different parts of the country, and these transfers, you know, it's also trying to integrate, you know, the food that are coming in from places.
Well, you mentioned Coach Armstrong. He's to figure out, right? Contact from behind. Well, he got it figured out at Mississippi State. He's going to emulate that. Yeah. What was successful about his style at Mississippi State that led to that SEC championship?
The first thing I'll say is just how intense and hard his team play. They go 90 minutes, 100 miles an hour, 100%, blue-collar, gritty, and just tactically playing against two holding mids, two attacking mids. You just can't get into a rhythm when you have the ball because they limit space. They try to disrupt what you're trying to do, and they've been doing, his teams have done really well at that. Trying to shift it and force it out wide, press on those areas. Those are some of the key characteristics that he's trying to emulate here at Auburn as well.
The Con Snyder free kick for Auburn. Aaron Floyd taking command of the box with a quick release. Still 30 minutes to play in the second half. Auburn Louisville in this SEC matchup, and this is one of the games just two Power 4 teams, two quality soccer conferences going head-to-head match of the season. Nick, I think this is going to be a game that a lot of people keying in on the result just to see what both teams have and how they measure up.
Absolutely. You know, with Louisville, with the experience that they've had to come back, return, and play together another year, how does those relationships grow into their maybe some of them senior year? And then for obviously Coach Armstrong did really well at Mississippi State. People are going to be sure to see is able to emulate that here at Auburn with a new crop of players.
Well, and he's taken over a program. All the credit to Coach Karen Hoppa for what she built in her 26 seasons and the many NCAA tournament appearances, 8 of the last 11 seasons. One of those including an Elite 8 appearance out to USC. And Coach Armstrong, quality of coach that he is, his ability to develop and evaluate talent, gets done at Mississippi State, a chance to come in and build off of what Hoppa has a step here, in which Auburn, let's call it what it is, Auburn's been a soccer school for the last 20 years. Hoppa and Coach Armstrong has a chance to continue that, and which is why he wanted to come back.
Well, he gave a ton of credit to Coach Hopper what he learned while he was here, and he was able then to take over his own program, coming back, transition to be almost seamless. He knows the staff, he knows the campus, university as a whole. So it just allowed him to really hit the ground running and not have to learn a brand new university.
Well, and regardless, I thought if Coach Hoppa stayed or if, she decided to retire, Auburn was going to have a lot of new faces this year regardless, just because of how many seniors they lost a season ago. So when you think about transition, on one hand, yes, it's completely rebuilding a roster and the identity of this team, but also for new coach Armstrong, he's got a chance to do it his way. Will that come with growing pains? I'm sure it will. I'm sure he is experiencing that as we speak. But for him, it allows him, again, that roadmap that he very much got at Mississippi State.
Absolutely. You know, you point out to the sheer number of players that Auburn lost. You see those fifth-year groups, you know, they still had the COVID holdovers. You know, 13 were in that class, and how impactful they were. They all left, whether Coach Hoppe stayed for another year, whether Coach Armstrong came in, it was a big turnover. Auburn did lose some quality players. You got, of those players that graduated, I believe 4 or 5 are now playing professionally, so the quality was lost. But you also then have the Colsons, the Woodsons, you know, the Kings of this team who gained valuable experience over the past couple of years, are now continuing to show it and now leading the group.
Well, Nick, you spent some years coaching in the state of Kentucky. You know this Louisville staff very well. Coach Karen Ferguson is also at Louisville 26 seasons. All in. Not too much to handle for Erin Floyd. Again, she has been the mainstay tonight for the Cardinals.
She's been a great, solid, you know, continues to build on what she did last year. I think Coach Ferguson Day spoke the world and says she's just going to continue to be better, mainly because she's healthy. You know, she missed some games last year just because of injury, but healthy she's been, and they're looking for big things for her throughout the season.
They're doing, and Louisville lost out to Ivy, gives Auburn a throw. And Auburn will have a sub on, give Olivia Wilson some rest and get a physical forward up top and Dylan Driver. And Louisville do the same thing. Heat in for Swinarski.
The good thing for both coaching staffs is they recognize that they've got deep rosters.
Yeah.
You know, they're comfortable subbing multiple players with not losing a level.
Well, the class been getting some big minutes tonight. Yep.
And we just got the fact that you could play. These teams could have chosen to play maybe a little bit smaller team, you know, and where it's not guaranteed win, but a comfortable game. You don't learn as much as you want to early in the season, as they're both still trying to figure things out, work out the kinks, and recognize what they need to continue to spend time on by playing SEC, you know, to play at SEC and vice versa. Test yourself, recognize then, hey, this is going well. The attack is going well. The defensive is going well. But then you recognize what you need to work on as well.
Well, and for these matchups like this, I love them for programs because you're able to know where you are early. Long run for Fleury and didn't have the angle as she got sealed off at the last second. But the ball flex out for Louisville. Auburn has a corner kick here in the second half.
Yeah, that all started with a little flick from Driver onto Fleury. You know, it looks as though she recognized she could slip the ball to Chris Ivy. Decided to keep it herself. Unfortunately, was pushed wide just to the point where the angle was cut off.
Oh, a veteran move there by the center back, Harsh Cherry. Highlighted her in the open nights. Corner kick in, middle of the box, headed on by Fleury, and Louisville able to deny Fleury a goal-scoring opportunity.
Credit to Auburn with set pieces. You know, for some of these corner kicks, they had a couple half chances in the first half when Woodson got the ball. Now Fleury gets on the end of it, and they just were a little off on the second one.
Lee lost her footing there, top of the box, back up, another go, and lost it out the goal kick. So Lee trying to argue for possibly a corner there, but we'll go Louisville's way. And again, this this half has settled in much like the latter half of the first half, Nick, where it was high pressure in the first 5 minutes or so, but pace of play, neither team really able to take momentum, take this game by the horns.
You know, the first game, you don't want to be playing at your best. You want to hold as the season goes. There's a lot to be happy about for both teams, I think, as this game is going on. You know, some of the chemistry issues will come. Communication issues will be worked out as time goes on. But so far, I think there's been a lot of bright spots on both sides of the ball from both teams.
Big upset tonight in another SEC-ACC matchup. About the defending national champs fall to the Tennessee Lake Falls tonight, 2-0. Tennessee's first win over a number one ranked team. In Tennessee, they've had their years of success towards the top of the SEC. Long run, shot from distance, wide left. Shot coming from Emerson Jennings at the top.
Tennessee, I think, was the dark horse pick by a lot of coaches.
Why is that cheer?
They brought in some players that are high quality. They had a good, solid core coming back. So just a matter of were they able to sort of integrate some of these new players well? And based on that result, it shows that they have.
In comparison to Auburn this year, Coach Armstrong picked 9th in the SEC. His former team, Mississippi State, picked 8th. Of course, Arkansas, they're picked to win it. Texas right behind them. And then you got some juggernauts in South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee right behind them. Vanderbilt's another quality program in the mix in that list.
What I loved about the SEC is parity. Obviously, the rankings show what they are, but there's not really an off game.
And that's so true. It doesn't matter where you are in the standings. I mean, I think last year, Nick, Auburn and Georgia, just what a battle that game was. Auburn in the bag, Georgia scored late. Huckabee on a corner for Louisville. Big opportunity for Louisville. 0-0 with 22 minutes to play. Cardinals taking their fourth corner. Near post. And it on just wide right. A near miss. Cherry on the end of it for Louisville after 6 goals a season ago. Correction, that may have been freshman Morris. But another corner. Huckabee sends it on the right foot. Back post. Yapo got it, lost it, and dove top to keep it out.
Yapo's a little more decisive there. Very strong coming out of the air. Read it well, hold it a little bit cleaner. I'm sure she wants to do that next time, but a little more decisive trying to read the service on that.
Well, speaking of Yapo, again, she's at behind Maddie Proska, as mentioned last year. She redshirted. How beneficial to a young keeper?
I think you just recognize how you need to manage games, how you need to manage situations. Proska played so many games. Years at Auburn.
Murray curls one back in. Backside Ivy making a run. Tied up. And will it be a throw-in or a corner? Will be a throw.
Yeah, go back to just being able to learn from Proska, recognize how you need to deal with situations when the ball's wide and being served in, how you need to deal with counterattack situations, how you need to deal with 1v1. The Proska got better at over her course of time at Auburn.
Well, and think about it. Yapo, she's got her same keeper coach.
Yep.
James Armstrong retains his old co-worker and a colleague, Ben Madsen. They coach together under Coach Hoppa. Ben remains on staff here at Auburn, working with the keepers. I know that certainly got up to bring some familiarity to Yapo.
Well, it's key for the goalkeeper and court to have that continuity and the chemistry with working with the same coach and knowing what the expectations are. You know, now it's her time. You know, she's going to be the new thing is how to deal with the pressure. Obviously, starting out with a little going into the SEC, you got Sanford, a great team that's always consistently good coming up on Sunday. She has to learn how to deal with just the emotions of managing these situations in these kind of games.
Video review. Auburn on a throw-in.
The previous play is under video review.
Was aiming for Dylan Driver. Driver got taken down from behind, so the officials review here. Nick, what do you think they're looking at?
It's a good question, to be honest. I didn't quite see it.
Whistle. Driver made a slight tug from behind, and I think that one will go Auburn's way. Tigers will have a set piece and just outside the box, so good as a cross in. It's a swing opportunity here with under 20 to play. 0-0 the score. Auburn doubled the chances tonight that Louisville's had. 8 for Auburn, 4 Louisville. Each team with 4 corners. Each keeper with some timely saves. Here's the head referee was called.
The call is confirmed outside the box.
Foul outside the box, not inside the box. And that's what the review was, the head referee. What's all looking to do here now with this opportunity?
I think they almost play it as a corner, not far off that, so it's a matter of whether they can get across some of these zonal defenders. You know, it comes down to whether the service is on and whether the timing of whether they have to jump for an aerial attack is in line with service.
Auburn to serve it in, back post, and overshot. Gordon Crosby incoming. A little hand tugging from behind. And Louisville will take it to the field gladly. Freshman Taylor Morris there had the step on Auburn. And a yellow card coming out for the Tigers. Yeah, a little too obvious there.
Yeah, I don't know if I know if Crosby knew Brown was there. It wasn't needed. Sure, the fact that she had some color coming.
Each team with one yellow tonight, but the game, in my opinion, has been overly physical tonight, and I think each team again just trying to figure out themselves more so than the opponent tonight.
Yeah, I believe. I have to look at the records, but I believe this is only the second time these teams have ever played each other. So there's not a lot of history between them. They play a game. It's been physical at the times. It needs to be physical but clean.
Oh, and I'd say that star freshman Karina Pete is on the front end of one collision, but yeah, the last meeting and the only meeting prior to tonight, Auburn won in the spring of 2021. That's when we had the fall and spring season combined. Due to COVID, Auburn won that one 1-0 in double OT. Nick, you on staff then, right?
I was.
What do you remember about that match?
Similar to this, Louisville being real organized. At Auburn, we had a fairly old group, solid players. Alyssa Melanson, who's now playing in the WSL, was on the group.
And that kid could fly,
She
right?
could fly, yeah. If I remember right, one on a PA. Sarah Halshin, if I believe. Wow, if I remember right.
Taking him back.
Corner kick for Louisville.
For Louisville.
Huckabee.
Huckabee. She's had some nice balls off of corners tonight. Can she deliver the go-ahead assist? At the top, punched out. Yapo got up there, not out of danger. Ball in and finds the net. Louisville on top. 1-0.
Go for Louisville from number 25.
Yapo did so well there with the initial save. Then it comes down to second chances. They're always dangerous for corner and set pieces. Not able to clear the lines quick enough to get pressure outside the box.
Hadley Snyder scored her first career goal, and it comes in the first match of her senior season. Punch out by Yapo. Selected at the top and finishes inside right post.
Auburn just a little slow to get out there. And we had talked before about how set pieces could come in to be the deciding factor for this game. Because, again, team's still working out kinks, communication, just speed of transition. Louisville was able to take advantage of the opportunity.
Snyder, a hometown kid out of Louisville, went to Assumption High School. 18 starts a season ago, over 1,400 minutes, and didn't break into starting lineup until last year. Tonight, she's got the go-ahead, 17 minutes to play. All in, we're looking for Christian.
It's going to be interesting to see how the teams react now with Auburn having chased the game a little bit with this last 17 minutes. Louisville, how do they hold a lead? How do they manage the game from here on out?
Well, and Auburn, thinking back to their exhibition results, I don't believe, Nick, that Auburn in either of their exhibitions.
No, so now they have to play a little more open, commit some players, a little more players on forward, create some more space. Louisville then to attack with once they regain possession. You may see Auburn look to press better now.
Able to maintain with Morris here on the near side. And for Louisville, their last road win against an SEC opponent, against an in-state foe, against Kentucky in 2017. Well, now 3-1. Louisville this year, they opened with 2 SEC matches. They head to Vanderbilt up in the Music City on Sunday. That'll be a top 25 opponent.
Tough opening weekend for both teams. And Coach Ferguson had mentioned that she wanted to test this super early, see where they stood. 2 quality SEC opponents to begin with.
I respect it because the gauntlet she's got ahead with Florida State as your first conference matchup, then Clemson as your third. I mean, it's a battle every single night, just like in the SEC.
Yeah, both coaching staffs want to prepare so that once conference starts, it's not an eye-opening experience. The players have built into that time of the year and they're ready. You just don't take the game off in either conference.
Lee at the top. Caldwell, ball in. Flying there for the headers, Louisville. Trying to build to get the equalizer. 14 minutes to it. Side floor pressured by Saxon. We'll work it back towards the middle. Pete's pass broken up by Auburn. Even with the box. Got numbers working in, plays it back to Salee. Gonna use her speed for the angle, won't get it. It's just to the right. It will be a throw in instead of a corner. Talk about a size clear.
I was about to say that Woodson needs to get back on the field and look up to see her on the side and ready to come in, and here she comes. Auburn's going to need her piece.
Here to the match for Auburn.
Last subs coming on for the Tigers.
Enters for number 7, Caldwell. Number 10.
In for me.
Grace Ivy enters for number 3.
Also, for Auburn is Caldwell.
Woodson enters for number 8.
And Gracie Brown.
Number 28. Aaron Houston enters for number 13. Asha Means.
Auburn aiming towards that back post. It's a pass off mark. Will breathe momentarily. Well, the thing about Louisville, though, I think about the goal they scored. You know, you talk about play big in the big moments. That's what Coach Karen Ferguson Days wanted her team to do. But if you think about it, they hadn't given anything away. They hadn't given up anything cheap. They haven't maintained possession. But, you know, she's emphasized, again, going back to being comfortable out of possession. Well, that's been most of the night. Louisville, and again, you get the one rebound shot, and that's all it takes.
It's been a game of transition so far. You know, now it's a matter of 12 and a half minutes left, how mentally they deal with the situation, how they manage these last couple of minutes. You know, you have Auburn with Driver and Woodson up front, playing what looks to be more of a two front. You know, how does Louisville deal with not being numbers up against the lone striker? In Woodson, you've got pace and ability to take players on one. Driver gives you the ability to play in feet, combine, allow teammates to run off her.
Crosby able to stay on her feet. Working against Lee. Out of play. Or excuse me, that second. Tigers get the corner and a chance to tie it. But just over 11 minutes to play. Auburn running out of chances. They've had some opportunity with 8 shots in 5 corners tonight. Towards the back, still in the box. 3 bounces and it's out in Louisville's favor. Here to track down and sends the missile in. Auburn was running from behind with Woodson. That's the looks they're looking to get her in behind that back line in numbers.
You can see the defensive intensity from Auburn being up. They're sort of forced into pressing a little bit higher, which is also going to allow for some more space further back line to deal with for Louisville then to counter and attack.
And an errant pass there for Auburn. Tigers lose some field position. Louisville player slow to get up. It's been the sophomore Brooklyn Lee on the ball, but the throw in. Short to Gibson, back to Lee. On the pitch. Auburn able to chip it onto the win thanks to Grace Ivy. Waiting for the time was Crosby. Cut off in the back by the captain Sexton. She's one tight. I don't think we've given her enough credit with how she played that position. Auburn looking to go over the top. Able to do it, though, with Cherry.
Been impressed with Cherry. She gained a lot of notoriety last year, just how good she is on both sides of the ball. But seeing her for the first time, just her ability to read service, and recognize when to drop. She's been one of the reasons that Auburn hasn't been able to get behind the back line.
Well, she's one of those defenders, too, because looking at her, big run with Dylan Driver sealed off at the last minute by Snyder. But another about Cherry, I was thinking, how is she not getting some more recognition in the preseason? It's simply just because of the depth of the ACC. It's not because she's not a player. Just ACC is that good. Corner chance for the orange and blue. Auburn looking for the equalizer. Sierra sent away. First shot, Taylor Chisholm. Back in from Houston. Ball down. In the mixer and clear out. I think it all to the feet of Crosby. I'm not sure if she was looking for a shot or a pass. But regardless, Louisville intercepted. Big chance at the top of the freshman in Morris. Diving stop. Yapo denies the freshman. Yapo hit from behind on the throw by Morris and a yellow card. Morris just wasn't aware of the space.
This is just a massive save from Yapo. 1v1 situation. Is able to read things well, cut off that touch there by the Louisville attacker, and then dealing with a little shoulder shove. Obviously, it's a yellow card, but big time save for her. First time she's really dealt with that. It's like in some of these situations, even though she's learned a lot over time at Auburn, she's now facing these situations by herself instead of watching Proska. Did really well with that one.
About staying composed after giving up enough 1 minutes to go for Louisville to take the lead. It was a rebound shot, a corner kick. Made the initial save, but it fell to the center back Snyder, who scored her first career goal. Clock stoppage due to substitution. And the clock stops. The game is tied. Orleans team makes us up. Something to note here in the final 7:37. AB in for Louisville, along with Swinarski. Auburn working it deep again. Auburn scratching tooth and nail right now. Scratching and clawing, fighting tooth and nail for an equalizer with 7 minutes to play. Now 1-0. Who's going to get the first goal of the season for the Tigers? This Louisville backline has been stingy, as has Aaron Floyd in net. And that story remains.
These are those points in the game where, as a coach, you want to see just grit and determination for your players that they got to, in a way, just figure it out, find a way, slide, dive, whatever it takes just to get on the end of a service, on the end of a shot. Doesn't have to look pretty.
A 1-0 match, too. I mean, there's no room for error on either side. Woodson working hard, but called off sides. Woodson, preseason All-SEC selection, second team All-SEC last year, junior from Richmond, Virginia. She's got the speed, but even more so with ball on her feet, she's got finesse. One of the top goal scorers in the league last year, scored 11 for Auburn, the Tigers. had the angle and had the foul behind. Carson Sherry playing keep away.
Auburn's got to be a little bit better there with that second pressure. You know, Driver does well to slow things down. Can Crosby increase the intensity and double, be able to give Auburn a better chance to win it back in those areas of the field and then get straight to goal.
Down by Auburn in Chisholm. Second chance, Chisholm into the back of Pete. Looking to center. Ball right back to her. If you're Louisville now, a lead with 4 minutes, Nick, what's the game plan here? Just dunk it and keep it?
I think you got to pick and choose the times to possess. And if you're not comfortable with it, it's okay to lose it. Just lose it in the other team's half. You know, it's keep yourselves organized, limp-based, Auburn can attack. And again, if it doesn't feel right, if you don't have your teammates around that you want, it's okay to lose it. Play big. Allow your teammates to get organized again, defend together.
Driver, it's intercepted by Morris, but Driver gets it back. Auburn able to keep possession and move it deeper downfield, because right now that's what Auburn can't allow is a big stretch of Louisville possession. Substitutes to the field, but no, because Auburn doesn't have the lead and the game's not tied. The clock does not stop. Auburn's got to be quick to get this reset. Down 1 with 3 to play. Injury timeout, Auburn.
This is a learning experience for both teams, how to manage situations. You made a comment earlier. Auburn hadn't, had to trailed in any preseason game so far. So, how did they deal with setting more push forward, just increasing the intensity, chasing the game a little bit, managing that situation from their end. Louisville now, how do they manage the lead? You want to keep possession if you can. Again, not give up any risky chances. We talk about it's okay not to have the ball. They're comfortable with it. Just a matter of can they let Auburn have it with Auburn's back line as opposed to their attacking mids, for example.
Crosby dealing with a lower body injury. This allows both teams a chance to reset. And it's hot, it's humid. I know she doesn't want to come off right now, but not common to see stoppages like this, especially in the heat. And even though you're playing at 8:30 at night, it's a long game, and it's been a battle for the last 2 hours.
August, hot temperatures, high humidity. This time of year, playing in South is always a risk for some cramping and dehydration.
Restart at 3:08. Aaron Houston will trigger Auburn. Goes short side to Ivy. Tigers have to quickly split the field. Ashamees. All down to Colton. Back to Beans. Beans making the move to the back row this year. Ball over the top to Driver. On the end of it's Floyd. Big save by the Louisville keeper. Colson using the physicality to her advantage. The whistle. Tigers working up to the right. Ball in. A laser. Down by Floyd. She's just pleased with the formation front, but a couple big stops.
Floyd here coming off her line, confident with that. She's going to get hit to an extent, but she knows that's what the situation took to get the ball out of that dangerous situation.
2 minutes to play, and big advantage for Louisville. Lizzie Sexton being the veteran that she is, just not going slow, but taking her time. Respectively with our lead, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
It's part of that game management. Walk everything. You have possession and you're holding the lead. No need to hurry.
Ball run for Auburn. Margie Brown loses the race and a whistle from behind. And she draws the yellow as Lizzie Sexton is slow to get up. Just she needs a minute. She's been a difference maker all night at the outside back from Cincinnati, Ohio.
So good in this situation. Just her recovery, getting her body in front of Brown, getting ball out of it, gives her the possession and gives her control of the situation, and then take the foul.
Oh, did the foul come after she was on the ground, or
I think it sort of as things as she started to fall?
Sure. It just appeared to me that Brown was trying to, again, with limited time, was going for the ball. And I think once Sexton was down, that's when the foul occurred. Top of the box. Quick chant on. And Jennings unable to get that one cleanly. 45 to play. 1-0 Louisville. Could be a huge win on the road for the ACC foe and SEC country to start the 2025 campaign. They're 30 seconds away, and they've got it deep in their attacking third. This is a match tonight, hard-fought, defensive-led, pretty on either end, but a gritty win nonetheless. Go ahead, go by Hadley Snyder, the difference maker. Aaron Floyd gets the shot out in net for Louisville.